Well, Angel and I decided it was time to come out to the cabin and do a spring cleaning. Sort of an overcast, cold day. I lit a fire, got too warm in there very quickly, and I decided I would get the cabin cleaned up a little bit. All those nice fancy lights that I had, if you remember the video where I showed the lights, they fell down. This is Bob. Bob is my robotic cleaner. I brought him out from the house. I keep opening the door and coming back in. Can't stay in there when it's working because it's such a small floor area, but does an excellent job of vacuuming the floor. Occasionally I had to move him to a different area if I didn't think he was getting that clean enough. It's a great little contraption. Angel sheds a lot of hair, and Bob is scheduled to come on every morning at 8 a.m. and he cleans the ground floor in the house every morning. He does a very good job. I think this was taking 1 frame a second, so it's why everything is so jumpy and fast. Putting things back to order. I didn't realize that I had the GoPro in the solid case, which muffled the sound. So I am now adding a voiceover instead of using the original muffled sound. Decided to make some of Angel's favorite dog biscuits, doggy treats, with pumpkin and peanut butter. She loves both pumpkin and peanut butter. The liquid ingredients there is what I'm going to be mixing up first. It's 1 cup of pureed pumpkin, not the kind that already has the pie spices in it, although Angel might like that. 2 eggs and 3 tablespoons of peanut butter, and I'm using the chunky peanut butter with the peanuts in it, just because that's what I happen to have and it's what I like. Angel gets pumpkin puree every day with her meal. She gets a couple of tablespoons of pumpkin puree with her meal. It's a good thing for dogs. It will cure many problems. If a dog it has diarrhea, it will cure that. And the strange thing about it, if a dog is constipated, it'll cure that. Angel's problem was anal glands, impacted anal glands, common with a lot of dogs. And the vet recommended pumpkin puree. 2 tablespoons with each one of her feedings, and she doesn't have any more problems. So pumpkin can be a medicine, I guess. The dry ingredients back there are 3 cups of whole wheat flour and 1/2 cup of oats. I don't use the instant oats, the large flake oats, kind that I use to make porridge with, and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. These things get in the oven and get cooking. The fragrance of the cinnamon is what you smell. They really smell good. They would make a good human cookie too, I think, except there isn't any leavening and there isn't any sugar. They're a little solid and crunchy when they're put together. Well, I got the liquid ingredients pretty well blended, and now I'm just starting to add the dry ingredients. As I said, there isn't any leavening or anything. Actually, I think I was a little strong in the measurement of my flour. I don't show it in this clip, but to finish mixing it in, I actually used my hands and couldn't get all the flour incorporated. So I think instead of 3 cups of flour, I managed to get a little extra in there somehow. Well, I've taken about half of the dough, turned it out on a cutting board there, a little flour. You're supposed to roll it until it's roughly a ½ inch thick. You don't bother to measure, I guess. Some of my cookies tend to be thicker than others, but Angel seems to like them no matter what. And I think that's probably about thick enough. The cookie cutter that I've chose to use today is heart-shaped. I've used many different kinds. Sometimes it isn't the very easiest to get the cookie out of the cookie cutter, but the first one came out quite easily, and then after that I seem to have to shake them a little bit more. Well, there's the first tray ready to go in the oven. I've got the little Coleman camp oven going on top of the Coleman gas stove. Coleman gas stove that has been using the same tank of gas since I bought it. It's just one of those barbecue sized tanks. I keep thinking I must have to refill it soon. I haven't really lifted it lately, but I think it was last year I was going to take it up to the store and get it refilled, and lifted it up, and it was so heavy I said, no, it's still about half full. Batch number 1 is out of the oven, and the pan was very hot. That's why it got put on the table so quickly. Even with the oven mitt on. It's an old oven mitt. I guess I need to get new ones out there. They don't get very brown. I don't know why, but they don't tend to get very brown. And when they first come out, they're kind of soft. But after they cool, they become crunchy. Getting the second batch ready to go in the oven. I think they're probably going to cook better than the first batch because I spent most of the time trying to regulate the temperature. I have a little oven thermometer inside of the oven. I keep turning the flame up and down, trying to get it quite right. And I managed to get 8 instead of 6 in this one. Well, it had been a cloudy morning and part of the afternoon, but it's what seems to be happening around here lately. The sun comes out in the afternoon. Not terribly warm. I think it only got up to around 15 degrees all day. Just standing on the step there looking around. And back in, the Angel is patiently waiting for one of her biscuits. Batch number 2 out of the oven. The ones that you can see stacked up on the plate are ones that I haven't cooked yet. I actually took them up to the house and finished cooking them. I only did 2 batches. Out at the cabin. It was just a short afternoon visit to the cabin. I think these ones did cook a little more evenly. Not quite sure where I went here for a few seconds. Angel is still being very patient, waiting for one of her biscuits. In just a second here, there, I turn the camera around and offer her one of her heart-shaped doggy treats. First time she's had one in quite a while. Unfortunately, with the silent movie here, you can't hear her crunching away on it, but she really loves the things. Well, that finishes this little visit to the cabin. Not a very long visit, but it's cleaned, so maybe I can use it more in the near future. Thank you very much for watching.